What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Manga Madhouse, a channel where I, Darian, take you through my manga collecting journey, where we talk manga, everything around manga, whether that's manga reviews, tips and tricks on manga, all that stuff. So if that interests you, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. In this video, if you cannot tell by the thumbnail title, we are going to be talking about my last manga haul of the year and probably my most diverse manga haul of the year. I'm very proud of this manga haul. If you've seen one of my videos, then you know that I felt like I got to a point in my collection where I kind of gathered everything I set out to gather as a newbie. But now as someone who knows a little more about different titles, I felt like there are other things I want to grab. There's other things I want to read. So in this manga haul, you'll see a lot of that. And of course, you'll see some things that I already have and I'm just finishing the collection for. So go ahead. This is going to be a long one. So go ahead and get your tea, get your snacks, whatever you need while you're watching a manga video, and sit back and relax because, like I said, this is going to be a long one, but a fun one. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Also, really quick, obviously, this is different from my other manga hauls as far as how it's filmed. My room is currently under construction. And by that, I just mean I have stuff moving around because I am implementing another bookcase, which y'all see, anytime I do changes like that, I'll record it. So y'all will see that once I do that. But yeah, so just be on the lookout for that. And I'm sorry that this may be a little different. However, if you like this form, then, that works out too. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So in the first volume we're going to do, and I'm doing it alphabetically because that's the way I have it sorted on my notes. But the first volume we're going to look at, the first series, is I have 2 volumes of Banana Fish. So if you're not familiar with Banana Fish, it's an old manga series. There's volume 1 and here's volume 2. But with Banana Fish, basically it's about this guy who was essentially like, I don't know, I'm going to put it nicely, like a slave to this other guy. And what he ends up finding out is that his brother took this drug called banana fish. And the person that is putting this drug out on the streets is the guy who he used to be a slave to. So, of course, he's going to, kind of go out there and look for revenge. And I think that sounds very interesting to me. It's something different. It's an older manga. And I feel like with older manga, we get kind of themes like that, which is something I don't see in newer manga. Not to say it doesn't happen, but it's not that something that happens too often, at least in my opinion. And I just think this will be a good read. I heard nothing but good things about it. The way I found it was I found it through just looking on Crunchyroll and just kind of going through and then looking up the titles and, oh, that looks cool. That looks cool. So that's essentially how we got here. And I'm very interested to read this. So if you've read this, let me know down in the comment section below. This is printed by Viz, if you're wondering. Oh, there you can't see the spine. But yeah, this is printed by Viz. A good, nice spine, a good, nice color, actually. So yeah, looking forward to reading this. That's something that's going to be high on my list when it comes to reading. Next up, we have Blade of the Immortal Omnibus Volume 1. I'm pretty sure you've heard of Blade of the Immortal. A lot of people have. It's a very popular series. But essentially what this series is about is this samurai who is not mortal. And he has to kill like 100 or something like that people in order to get his mortality back. So, if you're new to the channel, if you're not new to the channel, you already know that I really love samurai stuff. And I feel like my camera's kind of crooked. I don't know. Hopefully it's not. But, I already love samurai stuff. That's my thing. So, of course, I was going to pick this up at some point. I went ahead and got it. I think I got this at Barnes & Noble. And this is, published by Dark Horse. Most of this stuff actually came from Crunchyroll, which my Crunchyroll experience this time was completely different from my Crunchyroll experience last time. I'm going to make a video about it. It's not to crap on Crunchyroll as a company. It's not to crap on kind of how they do their business. It's more so I want them to actually hopefully maybe see the video when I release it, so that they can understand, like, hey, these are what your customers are going through. And I did unconventional things. Like, I didn't buy like a couple of them. I didn't buy like straight up. I did like PayPal Pay in 4, or I did I think that was it. PayPal Pay in 4, and then I bought 2 of them straight up. So it's just different things that happen when you use different outlets to buy different ways of payment. So I just kind of want to bring that to their attention. Like I said, not to crap on the company because all my books came here. Nothing was wrong with them. So that's that kind of all that matters. But I do just kind of want to point those things out when we get to that video. Next up, we have Volume 6 of Blood on the Tracks. This is going to be like another Gantz. And by that, basically, I just always order a volume when I'm making a big order. I just throw one of these or two of these in there. I still haven't read it yet, but I want the complete series. This is going to be something that is high on my read for 2024 list, which that will be coming out hopefully by the end of the year. I plan to make a lot more videos essentially towards the end of this year. I know that, I'm trying to shove them all in and Christmas is coming up, but I want to kind of just have more content because now that this channel is becoming something that I just never thought it would become in forever, thanks to you guys, I want to produce more content. So I'm being more purposeful with the content I release and the planning and all that good stuff. So you'll see that hopefully by the end of this year, if not really early 2024. Next, we have Blue Box by Koji Miura. I may be pronouncing that wrong. Volumes 1 and 2. So this is kind of where we get into the extremely diverse part. And this is the spine. This is the back. This is kind of where we get into the extremely diverse part of my manga collection now. And then, this manga haul where this is just it's not too different, but this is just a little different from what I normally get. We all know that I like Chainsaw Man, Naruto, Hunter x Hunter, things like that. Tokyo Revengers, this is where we kind of get into things are a little bit different. So Blue Box, essentially it's about this boy who likes this girl who's a little bit older than him. He's on the badminton team and she's on the basketball team. And what happens is that her family goes off on a work trip and she needs to stay somewhere. And she ends up staying with the boy and his family. How does that actually work? I don't know. I need to read it. But and basically, it's just him trying to understand how he's going to show this girl he likes him. So hopefully he doesn't get like crazy. I've heard nothing but good things about it as far as it being like humble and sweet and all that stuff. So hopefully it's nothing too crazy because, that this doesn't sound good. But it's hopefully it's a very humble series. And I look forward to actually reading it because I want to, diverse my palette and read a lot more different kinds of manga. Next up, we have something that is a completed series now. I'm able to complete it, and that is Blue Giant. I think this is Omnibus 4. Yeah, this is Omnibus 4, and this is Omnibus 5, volume 7 through 8 here, and 9 through 10 here. I think that's all of them. I got to double check. I probably should have double checked before I recorded the video, but Senshi Ishizuka is the mangaka for this, and Blue Giant is basically about this guy who never played an instrument a day in his life, but said that he wants to. That's kind of what he wants to do with his life is by being a really good saxophonist, or is that how you say? I don't know. I used to play trumpet in high school, so you would think I know this stuff. This is published by Seven Seas, but all these manga where it's like I've never done this before, and I want to get really good at it. I like those because I'm kind of that person where it may not be something I've never done before, but I'm very just driven. I'm always finding ways to continue to drive myself. I'm always finding motivation in random places. And it's just cool to me to see people who kind of embody that in manga that embodies that, because that is, I feel like, is a reflection of me. So I'm looking forward to reading this. This is also probably high on the list as far as what I want to get read next year. Next year, I'll be a lot more intentional with my reading as well. I kind of been lackadaisical. I'm probably going to kick it into full gear next year because there's so much I have that I want to read. And then also on top of that, it's just a lot to read, especially in my collection. Next up, for I think this is all it for that stack for the B's because I kind of have it where alphabetically. But next up, we have Blue Lock, volumes 1 through 3. Also, if you can already tell by Banana Fish, Blue Box, and now Blue Lock, I got just a couple early volumes. I didn't buy the complete series or anything like that. You'll see a lot of volumes 1 and volumes 2 in here because I'm trying to just introduce myself into different series. Blue Lock is one. I think it's one of the most sold manga this year. If I saw what I saw, and that's correct. But Blue Lock essentially is about soccer. and these kids trying to find like the next Japanese striker, I believe, for the Japanese World Cup team. I'm really big into soccer. I've really gotten into it. I like to say football, but I know people get confused, but that's what you're supposed to say. But I'll just say soccer for the sake of the video. I'm a big soccer nerd. It's not like I've been watching it my whole life. I didn't start watching until like 2014, 2013. I had a friend, he was German, and that's what his family enjoyed. So I kind of just would go to his house and watch all the soccer games and stuff. And that's kind of how I got into it. But yeah, sports manga, it always sounds, good to me. There's a lot more sports manga out there I want to read. So of course, with this being as praised the way it has been, of course, I'm going to want to read more of that. So I will be reading this. This is something that maybe I might get started on before the year's over. I'm kind of waiting for like my work PTO to kind of kick in, and then I can really get some reading done and get some videos done as well. Because I know I've promised a lot in this video already as far as content, but once like my work PTO kind of kicks in, which is very soon, I'll be able to do just that. All right, next we're moving on to another stack. This is going to contain C through E. It's not a lot, but there is some here. First one, we have Chainsaw Man Volume 13 by Tatsuki Fujimoto. If you already know, there's no reason to go into Chainsaw Man, but as you know, I've started Chainsaw Man. I think last time I've talked to y'all, I was on Volume 2. Now I'm on Volume 9 or 10. I'm basically, spoiler alert, I'll just say that. I'm basically at the part where you kind of find out Maki. Well, actually, I won't even say that because I don't know how true it is. But essentially, they just found out that the Gun Devil split up between different countries, and the countries are essentially trying to get the most out of the Gun Devil because of the fact that if more people are scared of the Gun Devil, whoever has the biggest chunk of the Gun Devil as it will split up will be a more powerful country because they have a bigger part and all that. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So like I said, spoiler alert. So please skip that part. But yeah, really good series. It's probably might be my favorite series that I've read so far. I know I'm not done, obviously, as I said, but really, really good series. There's not enough I could say about Chainsaw Man. It's so good. I probably would do like, once I'm like caught up, I'll probably do like a video just explaining just my experience because I've enjoyed every second of Chainsaw Man. Next up, we have a manga called Colorist by Kent. That's the mangaka. It's published by Seven Seas, and essentially it's about this world where all the color in the world is taken away, and there's this guy who wants to find the last little bit of color that is being held captive, I guess, by these aliens or creatures or whatever, and then he meets this girl, and they kind of go on the adventure of trying to restore color in the world. So it's sounds interesting. I saw it at not Best Buy, at Barnes & Noble a few times. And then when I was on Crunchyroll trying to figure out what I should order, I saw this and was like, oh, I'll go ahead and get it. It looks interesting. The art looks cool. So anytime like something looks kind of interesting, art looks good, I'll go ahead and dive into it because why not? That's just how I operate. Next, we have... Oops, I knocked down a stack, but it's okay. Next, we have Dracula Midnight Children Volume 1 by Shinichi Sakamoto, based on the original Dracula. I have not read this. I have not read this at all. I know Volume 1. I saw it on the Omnibus Collector. He was talking about it in a video. Essentially, this is just kind of this mangaka's version of Dracula, in a manga form. So it looks a little creepy, looks a little spooky. You know me, that's what I like. I like horror, I like mystery, I like thriller. This fits into that. Very good, solid book. I really enjoy just how different books, come in, especially manga. Like you have hardbacks with the little flap, which I'm about to show one of those. And then you have the paperbacks. It's just a lot. And I think that the way you package a manga, a book in general, is also a big part of the book itself. That's why I like collecting physical manga as is and not just reading it all online. Even though there's nothing reading everything online, but I just like the feel of the book. Good quality, pages are good quality, art in it's good. So yeah, I definitely look forward to reading this. I don't know how many volumes there are. I don't even know how many is going to be in the whole series, but I definitely will go ahead and get a stab at this once I get some free time. Next, we have Volume 2 of Erased. So if you are an OG of this channel, you already know that Erased was one of the first manga I think I bought since I started collecting manga. Yeah, I saw the anime. My wife enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was really, really good anime. So I'm really interested in just collecting the manga. This is something that I probably will not read. I think this is a Impress. Yeah, I probably will not even begin to read until I have all of them. So I'm going to slowly start collecting them because I kind of bought the first volume and then got so like trapped into buying other manga, getting into other series. I kind of forgot about it. But then when I saw volume 2 at Barnes and Noble, I went ahead and got it. It's just quality. I really enjoy the series. And then, like I kind of said earlier, it's just about how these things are packaged. It's just great. It just adds a piece to the book itself. So Erased, go check it out. I can't speak on the manga, but I can tell you that the anime is really good. Next, we have, what was that? That was C through E. So now we have F. Let me grab that. All right, so yeah. So this is a funny stack that we're about to get into. Mainly because it's a lot of duplicates, as you'll see, because I'm dumb and kept buying the same manga over and over. But the first one does not apply to, and that is Fire Force, the first omnibus of Fire Force. I watched the anime, I liked it. I just wasn't too crazy about it. I just really couldn't get into it. It's not that it was bad. It just didn't draw me in with the story. Thought the art in it was really good. Thought the animation, of course, was really good. It's just the whole thing about just the story didn't really pull me in. I will say that the reason I got this is because I know that it was recently confirmed, probably by Atsushi Akubo. I could be saying that wrong. I think I saw that it was confirmed in the last chapter of this series or the latest chapter. I don't know. I try not to read too much into that stuff as I haven't read this yet. This is a prequel to Soul Eater, and I've always wanted to read Soul Eater. I just haven't gotten around to it. So I figured maybe I should start this. If I don't like it, maybe it's fine. I can just dive into Soul Eater, because if this is confirmed to be a prequel to Soul Eater, people have been reading and watching Soul Eater well before this. So I feel like, does it really matter? Probably not, but why not try to, it's a chance to kind of get back into this, see if I like it, and then possibly go into Soul Eater. So I just thought that would be cool. So I went ahead and got it. Let me know if I'm tripping about Fire Force. I know a lot of people like it. Of course, I mean, it makes sense. I just wasn't too into it. So if you can kind of convince me on things I should be looking for while I'm reading this without giving too many spoilers, then let me know. Because I'm very much so, just because I say I don't like something doesn't mean my mind can't change. Sometimes you got to be in the mood for certain things. Sometimes you got to just be ready for that kind of stuff. And I will admit that I kind of just turned it on based on a recommendation from a friend. He didn't give me much about it. So I don't know. Maybe that's why I didn't like it. So I definitely would like to like it. Of course, I don't go into something hoping to hate. So yeah, just let me know if there's anything I'm missing with Fire Force. And also, if you have someone that's finished Fire Force or read the latest chapter or whatever, do you feel like it's absolutely necessary to read this and then read Soul Eater? So just let me know on that. The next volume we have, let me take a sip of tea here. This is some good cinnamon tea. It's supposed to be Stress Ease. Good stuff right there. Next we have Fist of the North Star. So that's kind of going to complete it for the Fs. So volume 1, old manga series. Once again, a good hardcover. I love good hardcovers. Published by Viz Media. Tetsuhara does the art, and Buran-san is the one who did the story, basically the author. I just like fighting manga. I like, where they're getting busy, and that's what all this is about. This is about fighting. This is about war. Basically, this guy in this apocalyptic world is helping the less fortunate, trying to protect those who cannot protect themselves. So I have volumes 1 through 4. And what's funny about this is I have 2 volume 2s, and I'm about to have 3 volume 2s because of the fact that I kept ordering the same one. So long story short, I placed the order on Crunchyroll, and I ordered 2 and 4 by accident and thought I ordered 1 and 2. So then I went on Amazon and ordered 2 and 3 because I was like, well, might as well get Might as well. No, I ordered 2 and 3 thinking 2 was the one I was missing, but I was missing 1. So then that happened. So then that's how I got 2 of them. And then one time I was at Barnes and Noble, and this is before the Amazon one, of course, before I made the Amazon order. I was like, oh, I'm missing 2. I just kept thinking I was missing 2, so I kept buying it. And now here I am with 2 volume 2s and a third one on the way. I think the third one's actually in my mailbox. So I need to find out something to do with these. As I always say on this channel, in my neighborhood, I have a thing where you kind of give away books. I think I should put it in there. I'm not very keen on like reselling. That's just not my body. That's just not how if I need to sell part of my collection, I will if that time comes. But like as of right now, I'm just in a position where I don't necessarily need to if I don't want to. And I kind of am very big on to kind of like giving stuff away. Now I get giving it away with I prefer to give away locally only because it's just a lot easier and no money has to be involved. But I get given away with 2 volume 2s. People are going, what the heck I'm going to do with it? So I don't know. Let me know if you have any ideas on just how to kind of give stuff away, or I might sell it, but just for cheap. I don't know. Is it worth it even like putting it on the internet and selling it when I'm not really going to make anything off it? If anything, I just get rid of it. Like if I sell it, it just kind of call it even. And it's like, what's the point? So yeah. We'll see. But yeah, volumes 3 and volumes 4, I'm very interested to get into this because once again, it's just some action. It's some fighting. How could you not like that? All right. So now we're going into A, B, C, D, E, F, G. My G's. And there's going to be some other stuff in here too. Of course, this is G through J. So the first one we got is Gantz. So you will probably see Gantz until I complete the series. You will probably see Gantz in every single manga haul I do because when I place an order, I always get a volume of Gantz. Why haven't I just went and bought all the volumes of Gantz? Don't know. I think it's kind of fun doing it this way. I think it's because mainly I know I'm not going to read it anytime soon. It is on my list for 2024. I got to look at that list because that list is kind of extensive. And even though I want to do more reading, I would also like to kind of prioritize what I'm going to read. So I don't know if Gantz should be higher up on the list. Maybe I'll do a video like a prequel to this is what I expect to read, and to kind of y'all helping me kind of what I should dumb it down to. Or maybe I should do the whole video where this is the whole list of what I'm looking to read. Help me out in the comment section about kind of how I should prioritize this. Maybe we'll do it that way. I don't know if we should do 2 videos, 1 video. Let me know down in the comment section below. But you'll always see Gantz. Everybody talks about Gantz and how good it is. I'm very interested one day get into it, but I know I'm not getting into it anytime soon. I think that's why I just keep buying the single volumes. That's why I keep buying 1 volume at a time instead of buying the whole series. Next up, we have volume 2 of Goodnight Poom Poom. So in my last manga haul, I believe I got volume 1, or maybe it was 2 videos ago. Either way, there's not enough to say about Goodnight Poom Poom. I still haven't read the first volume, but I will get to it. That is something that I for sure will want to get to very, very soon. It's just about life. It's just about life. That's essentially what the manga is about, with good artwork by Inio Asano. I like that kind of stuff. I like the realistic stuff in my fiction, as crazy as that sounds. I know people do it to kind of get away, but sometimes it's good to just see that, just see how other people handle certain things that you may be going through that you don't really feel comfortable talking with people with, or just maybe not even feel comfortable. Maybe they just don't get you in a certain way. Or maybe you're not even good with your words to explain it. I'm one of those people who I'm just not good with my words. And this is volume 3, by the way. But I'm just personally not good with my words. And sometimes I do not a good job of saying what I am intending to say. So if someone's trying to understand me and help me or guide me through something, it's hard for them to do that. I don't give them the correct information. That's kind of how I feel about that. And I'm not saying I'm looking for Goodnight Poom Poom to solve my life problems or anything like that. But what I am saying is that it's just cool to see that in fiction. And you can kind of take things away from that and apply it to your life. So that's kind of what I mean by that. Next up, we just have volumes 5 through 10 for Jujutsu Kaisen. So last time I recorded, I believe I had like volumes 1 through 4, 0 through 4, something like that. And essentially what I was saying was I went ahead and got it just because of the fact that I heard that, what's it called? the animation was not doing too hot, doing too well, as far as it could be canceled because they're overworking the animators. I didn't look too much into that, as probably I should have, but I will say, and this is volumes 5 through 6. I will say that it seems like new episodes are still going. So now I'm just collecting it to collect it because I do really enjoy Jujutsu Kaisen. I am not caught up. Not caught up at all. Haven't started the manga at all. I've been watching the anime. Anime is really good. Fantastic. I see why people love Jujutsu Kaisen so much. I love it. I think it's something that caught my attention right away, which typically doesn't happen with me with anime. I usually have to watch like the first episode of an anime a couple of times before I really get into it. And I don't know why it's that way. I think it's just because it's so fast, like in the 20 minutes, and you're so used to watching 30-minute shows with jam-packed with not 30-minute shows, an hour shows with jam-packed information, and this is 8 through 10. But yeah, jam-packed information. It's a little different when watching a manga or anime series that may not just have certain tones that you kind of look for that grab your attention right away. They have to do a lot of story building and stuff like that. So anytime a manga just catches my attention or anime catches my attention right away, I'm automatic like, this is the anime for me, and I have not been let down since, but I do want to catch up on that. Now, we are doing K through O. So yeah, let's grab all of these. And I think my camera, oops, did I mess something up? No, I did not. I think my camera is going to stop recording at some point. So let me make sure that does not happen. I think I should be fine. We'll see. If it cuts off, it cuts off, and we'll adjust from there. All right. So in the K's, we have the first. Oops, I hit my camera. So in the K's, we have Killing Stalking. I'll try to speed this up a little bit without going too far. We have Killing Stalking. Still haven't read it. It's crazy that now I know that why certain manga volumes or manga in this case are covered in plastic is because they have stuff that people shouldn't necessarily be seeing, as easily as accessible if you get it from the store. So the fact that every volume of Killing Stalking that I have has this plastic, and most of Gantz has it, is kind of crazy. But hey, that's the kind of series we like, So I'm very interested to see what this is. It's by Kugi. Essentially or maybe it's Kuji, I don't know. But essentially what the series is about is this guy who, I was hoping I didn't show anything too crazy. I didn't. But essentially it's about this guy who was saved by someone in the war, and then essentially he's kind of enamored by this person and starts to follow them. I don't know where the killing comes in, but I'm pretty sure that's where the stalking comes in. So I will definitely want to get into that as well. I know that I think they're getting close to an end, if I'm not mistaken. So that would be pretty interesting to kind of get into. But I'll probably wait until the series is completed and then start reading it. All right. Next, we have more. Oh my goodness. So next we have Moriarty the Patriot. There we go. I completely messed that up. So if you are new to the channel, or if you just haven't heard me say before, I'm very big into like history. I'm just like a history buff. I don't know everything that happened in history, but I do feel like history does repeat itself. So I think it's cool to kind of get like historical pieces and stuff, because they have to grab the thoughts and the process when they're making a historic piece based off somewhere, even if it's fiction. So I'm very interested to kind of read this. This is kind of like a historical thriller. Basically, it's about this guy who there's essentially classism, and people who are of a certain class usually are not able to kind of do well in life. And this guy kind of wants to wants to change that from the British government. And so he just goes in and becomes a patriot and does whatever patriots do, goes undercover, I guess. I don't know, but very interested to see that. Like I said, I enjoy history type pieces or period pieces as well. So if you have any other manga that kind of follows this, it doesn't have to be like, of course, like this, but just anything like historic that has maybe some type of historic representation, and let me know. I got volumes 1 and 2. As I said, there's a lot of like 1s and 2s because I'm starting a lot of new series. So yeah, very, very interested to read this. This is based on a work by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and the storyboard is by Ryosuke Takeuchi, and the art is by Hikarin Miyoshi. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and please forgive me if I'm pronouncing any of that incorrectly. Next up, we have Orb on the movements of the Earth. This is something that is kind of like an historical piece as well by Uoto. This is also published by Seven Seas. And basically what this series is about is this guy who studies the movements of the Earth. And there are some people who believe that everything revolves around the Earth. And in this particular setting, people who believe otherwise are killed, tortured, all these kinds of things. So he essentially is trying to prove that without also dying. And so it's just probably sounds like it's going to be a tense series, and I'm looking forward to reading it. I believe this is the first release of it in English. So I don't know when volume 3 and 4 is going to come out as part of the omnibus, but I will probably go ahead and get started on this. This is not something I would be waiting for the series to complete. This is something I could probably read and have time to wait and see before I actually start reading. But it sounds like an interesting series. Once again, as I said, I like kind of stuff that's a little bit of history based. It doesn't have to be completely accurate. I'm not grabbing my history lessons from that, but I do just like kind of understanding different parts of history, of course, because, you know, being in America, you kind of only hear the American side, or Americans, even in fiction, you hear America's interpretation of certain historic things that they want to take away from. So it's just cool to kind of get that from other cultures as well. So looking forward to reading this. And lastly, for the O's, as for the O's, and I actually missed a very big piece of this manga haul that I'll probably just do last, but we have Orochi, by Kazu Umez. If you're not familiar with Orochi, essentially it's a horror manga that follows the story of a woman named Orochi with supernatural powers, and kind of just goes through not her day-to-day necessarily, but just kind of the different things that happen to her. Very interested to see. It reminds me a little bit of Junji Ito. Interesting stuff here. Definitely will be checking that out. I don't know how many volumes there are, but I know there's a few, but I got volume 1 just to see if I like it, because I'm not taking y'all's recommendation. I'm not going to grab a bunch of manga and not know, too much about it and get the whole series. So now I've just kind of been doing 1 or 2 at a time. So next we have, this might be out of order. Oh, well. It's S, R, and Q. So I don't even know if this is in alphabetical order. I didn't feel like doing an alphabet in my head. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, N, P, Q. Oh, so yeah, this is actually in order. So believe it or not, this is like my 4th time trying to record this, as the memory card on my camera was just not being my friend. But as you can see here, we have Quintessential Quintuplets by Negi Haruba. Essentially, this is, it's funny that I say essentially, but basically what this manga is about is these 5 sisters. And I was in Barnes & Noble looking for, was it Fist of the North Star? And my wife saw this and thought it would be interesting for her to read. So that is going to be her first like real manga that's not like volume 1 of Naruto, because that's what she's read so far. And so far, I think 50 pages in, she says she really has enjoyed it. She hasn't had a chance to continue reading it, but once she does, I think about having her on the channel and kind of telling you guys about it. But there's volume 1, and then there is volume 2, and of course it's like 15 volumes, or it might be even more than that, but she enjoys it. I haven't read too much of it. She said she was about to cry like the first 50 pages, so depending on how you feel about that, that's either good or bad. So, Quintessential Quintuplets, based on what my wife said, it sounds like it's something you should read. So I just went ahead and got it for her because she said it sounded interesting. So I might read it, but it's still going to be in the collection. We'll do the next manga. We have Record of Ragnarok. But basically, I mean, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this manga. It's about Greek gods. It's about mythology. It's about all that cool stuff. And as someone who is a big fan of mythology, of course, I had to get this. I haven't read the first volume. I read the first chapter. I pretty much enjoyed it. I was like on a work trip and I had that with me. So I was like, it wouldn't hurt to read the first chapter while I have some time. So I read it, enjoyed it, and definitely look forward to read more. I only have 1 volume of that. But if you're into Greek mythology, if you're into fighting, this obviously will be a pick for you. And next we have, it's 4 volumes. Move that mouse. We have 4 volumes of A Silent Voice by Yoshitoki Oima. The first 4 volumes of A Silent Voice. I've heard people who said this is one of their favorite manga ever. I've heard people say, and these people that I've heard say that were like people who just got into anime and or just got into manga. It's all new to them, and they picked this series up and said it's one of their favorites. So normally I get 1 through 3, but I think like the bundle it came in, it was like, oh, you can get the first 4, and just based on how just praised this manga is, I figured first 4 will not hurt. But basically, this manga is about Shoya, who is a bully. When Soko, a girl who can't hear, enters his elementary school class, becomes his favorite target. Shoya and his friends goad each other into devising new tortures for her, but the children's cruelty goes too far. Shokoi is forced to leave the school, and Shoya ends up shouldering all the blame. 6 years later, the two meet again. Can Shoya make up for his past mistakes, or is it too late? And people just say that they just love the dynamic between the two main characters and just how it just builds on just such a wonderful story. So it sounds intense. It sounds like it's a tearjerker. It sounds like a lot is going on. But I'm looking very much forward to reading this. So yes, first 4 volumes of a silent voice, and I like these spines here. My last stack, I believe. Yeah, this is my last stack. Is volume 6 through 12 for Zom 100. So the first way I've heard about Zom 100 was through the anime. I really enjoyed the anime, and so since then I've been collecting the manga. I have not been reading the manga at all. I've just, like I said, been collecting it, and I really enjoyed the anime. The anime has been pretty good so far. I want to say I'm caught up. I gotta look. I gotta check. I should probably keep a list of like where I am in certain anime, because I already technically have that for manga. But anyway, I think I want to say I'm caught up, but if you're not familiar with Zom 100, I suggest you go ahead and checking out the anime. And if the anime is anything like the manga, I think the manga will be a safe read as well. The anime essentially is about this guy named Akira who works this job as like a finance or marketing or something like that. And the job just does him no justice. It's like the slave away at the corporate company, it's like that kind of story. But then a zombie apocalypse takes over, and he uses that as courage, as a jumpstart to focusing on his life and what he likes and doesn't like. I'm gonna show this last one, but what he likes and does not like, and just conquer the world, as far as just understanding himself, understanding who he can be, understanding that life isn't always just working all the time, and there's risk and things you should take as long as you have the ability to. So the zombie apocalypse kind of jumpstarts that idea and helps him realize, like, wow, I really could have been making more of my life even then, and it shouldn't have took this far for me to go this far, as far as understanding my life and understanding how life is supposed to go, and how you kind of dictate your own life at times. So yeah, very interesting. I suggest checking it out. It's funny. There's some action in there. It's just a good overall series. And I wish I could give you more on the manga itself, but I've only seen the anime. Now, the last thing I'm going to show you, and unfortunately I'm not going to show you kind of inside, only because I have not got it out the plastic. And this is also something that I was not expecting to be here at this point in time. But here we are. The complete first box set, the only box set of Dragon Ball. So I've only seen Dragon Ball once compared to watching Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, even a lot of Super. I've seen multiple times. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've seen Dragon Ball Z. Can't tell you how many times I've seen GT, and I think I've only seen Super like 2 to 3 times. And by watching, I just put it on and whatever the case may be, if nothing else is on. But I have not gone back and watched Dragon Ball. In fact, when I did, it was when the first time I watched, I was really young, really, really young. And I enjoyed it. I remember enjoying it. I remember being, there's some things I remember. I'm like, oh, that was a good part. This was a good part. But I don't remember, like, overall. I'm not like as detail oriented as I am able to be with Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT. But I was like, hey, now that I'm into manga, it would be really cool to read it. So I went ahead and bought the box set. Oops, I didn't hit the camera, but you can kind of see the side with Bulma and Goku right there. And then on the back is really cool. So yeah, I really, really look forward to reading this. I'll show you the inside later. I might do a video on this specifically. I might just do it in a short and call it a day like I did with the last box set I did, which I think the last box set I got was Dragon Ball Z. So yeah, really, really excited to read this. This is something that I'll probably read really quickly. Only 16 volumes, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get through. But that does it for this video. Sorry it was so long. It was a tough recording process, as like I said, things kept messing up, but we finally got to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think of some of the series I got, some of the manga I got. There will be a lot coming to this channel in the future. I'm not going to add talks about anime because I did a poll and people were like, hey, we just keep it manga, which I completely understand. I'm just trying to find out how I could provide the best content to you because this is just really fun. I really enjoy making videos for y'all. So if for those of you, because it was still a lot of people who voted yes for anime, I don't know, maybe a future channel where I just kind of talk about anime instead of manga. So I just have two channels. We'll see. I don't know. That's super, super far. But right now, I'm just having such a good time creating videos for you guys. So let me know if there's any ideas or anything else you want to talk about as far as what can be done on this channel. I also, oops, I hit the camera. But I also have, like I said, probably me setting up my other bookshelf as I'm planning to take the rest of my manga that I have in box sets out, along with the new manga I have today, which definitely is enough to fill my shelf. So I got 2 extra shelves, but I might only put up 1 because I'm gonna just put them up as needed, so it doesn't look weird. So yeah, I have that coming. I have like my list of what I want to read in 2024. I have just a whole bunch of things coming. So just be on the lookout for that. And once again, lastly, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.